Hiram Silk of CBC Radio in Grand Falls was invited to a Tibbs Eve party at the home of Mrs. Blythe Donahue at Boyd's Cove, Notre Dame Bay. Let's join the party, too.
Hello, boys. Hello. Come in. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Some like for a drink. Have a drink. What about that? Come on, Bill. Let's get on there. Strike up a tune first. Have a drink, boy. Have a drink. Hey, bring up your glasses. Put up your glasses. Put your right leg up. Hurry up. You won't get around in time. Put your corner. Have a boys. Bring up. Swing your partner, round we go. A little more dough, boys, a little more dough. Up, go. Sing it, boys, sing it. Seeing this Christmas, boys, there's you go. About a week ago, I was invited by an old-time friend of mine. He invited me to come up to his room for to test his beer and wine. We ate a lobster salad and not a butter truck, and we drank to each other's health until the hour of 4 struck.
That's good.
We drank until we did not know which was wine from beer. Our heads grew very heavy and our brains not very clear. Now, how I got home I do not know, but my prayers I think I said. And I know that I was drunk, boys, when I fell into bed.
That's good, Leo.
It was then I dreamt I died and went to heaven, and for repentance was too late. So the next thing I knew, I was stood before St. Peter, up before the Golden Gate. What will you have, says St. Peter, for you know you can't get in, and you must surely suffer, Leo, for that greedy, gluttony sin.
Good.
I turned away and said no more, hung down my head in shame. And St. Peter's clerk stood close by me and wrote lost against my name. The next come along was an Italian, one on earth that I knew well. So I stepped aside and listened to the story the Italian may tell. He says, goodness gracious, Peter, I come to you at last. My peanut days are over. My banana nights are past. While on earth I treat my neighbour like myself, no beg, no rob, no steal. And never on the sidewalk, St. Peter, did I throw a banana peel. You did well, says St. Peter, but your gains are all ill-gotten. Your peanut shells were empty, your bananas often rotten. The poor Italian turned away, and being a friend of mine, he come and stood beside me with a teardrop in his eye. The next come along was an ancient Jew with a satchel in his hand, and up before the gate in St. Peter, the Jew proudly took his stand. He says, "Goodness gracious, Peter, I'll tell you what I'll do. I have jewelry fit for angels, and I could auction half for you. Now, I could have sold him on an installment plan, but that would be a sin. So I'll give them to you, St. Peter, for half price, if you mind to let me in." Also, while on here, I kept a clothing store. My goods were cheap and strong. And I'll assure you, St. Peter, I had an overcoat, but I forgot to bring it along. "Then you hold on," says St. Peter, "and very well you know there'll be little use for overcoats where you have to go." And the poor old Jew, he turned away, most evermore repine. Just like me, the Italian, he took his place in line. The next come along was an old maid, and she was bound to have her say, so she addressed St. Peter with her peculiar way. Right. She says, "Is this yourself, St. Peter, looking nice and sweet? Well, hurry up and get your clerk and show me to my seat. Give me a nice, comfortable seat and a first-class pair of wings, and then I won't be afraid of them naughty, naughty men." "You hold on to St. Peter, no angels got grey hairs. You got no sons or daughters, and you'll be a stranger in there." The poor old maid, she turned away, most evermore repine. Just like me and the rest of the boys, she took her place in line. The next come along was a German, one hypnotized with fear, and often while on earth paralyzed his customers with beer. He says, "Goodness gracious, St. Peter, the wife, she ran away from me, and to hide my shame I tried, so I went down by the river bank and committed suicide." "Then you hold on to St. Peter and suffer your disgrace. Sure, you come before we sent for you. Now we can't find your place." The poor old German turned away, most evermore repine. Just like me and the rest of the boys, he took his place in line. The last come along was Paddy, a son from Erin's Isle, so he addressed St. Peter with his peculiar smile. "Oh," he says, "is this yourself, St. Peter, looking nice and sweet? Well, hurry up now and get your clerk and show me to the seat." "You hold on," says St. Peter, "you're just like all the rest. First you must be tried. You got to show a pass before ever you gets inside." And taking off his old slouch hat, he tossed it over the gate. "Now," he says, "hurry up, St. Peter boy, or for supper I'll be late." "Go and get that hat," said St. Peter, "you slack religious slouch." Ped walked in, he turned the key, and he locked St. Peter out. And peeping through the keyhole, "I'm master now, you see. I'll give you gate, heaven and crown, if you mind to set all Ireland free." And when I awoke next morning between the bed and wall, the sheets were tangled in me shoes. It was a drop of beer that did it all. Give us another jig, Bill. Give us another jig, Bill. We'll have another drink. Now, time for another drink. Now, line up. Line up, sir, boys. Line up. boy, Mike, boy. Bunny Irish boy. Come on, Mike.
Come on, brother.
Oh, first when I went courting my bonny young Irish boy, he kissed me and he called me his pride and only joy. 'Twas down in London City, a place called Notre. 'Twas there my bonny young Irish boy courted me did came. He courted me for 12 long years, but now has took a flight. For I'll pack all my clothing and follow him by night. And when I searched in London, in dear old London town, they told me my body was married to a lady of renown. But when the meadows are sparkling green, the valleys are bright and gay, where me, my body young Irish boy, spend many's a happy days. His teeth were like the ivory, his cheeks were like the rose. He break the heart of any young girl, no matter where he goes. So now, my friends, I'm dying, 'tis one more equals, I'll say. Go take my bones to Ireland and bury them in the clay, and mark upon my tombstone to show that passes by that I die broken-hearted for my body young Irish boy.
Well done, Mike. Well done, Mike. Now, Gordon Leo, give us the Hills of Denswelly. Now, see their Christmas, Mike. How sing the Christmas?
Oh, listen now while your countrymen
and hear my latest news.
Although my song is sorrowful, I hope you'll me excuse. I lift my peaceful residence some foreign land to see. I bid goodbye to Donegal, likewise to Glenswelly. Brave starward men around me stood,
Each comrade's kind and true.
and as I clasped his well-known hand, I bid my last adieu. I said to my fellow countrymen, I hope you'll soon be free, and proudly raise the green flag over the hills of Glenswelly. May peace and plenty
Reign supreme upon Loch Willie shore.
and may God's blessing shine upon our homes forevermore. And may the time soon come around when I'll return to thee, and live beside our forefathers live and die at Glenswelly.
What did you say, Mother, about the hard time song?
Yes.
Want me to say that?
Yes.
I'll recite it for you.
Yes.
Yes, so there, Lou, come on. Yeah, that's good.
Last night as I lay on my pillow, I dreamt of the days that had fled, and I said to myself, it's a far cry from the days when I was a lad. My thoughts took me back o'er the decades, to the years when the going was tough. We were all hugged by old man depression, and often his whiskers was rough.
Good boy.
The old folk will say that I'm foolish to let the cat out of the bag, but the young folks don't know what a struggle went on for each bite and each rag. Our girls had no snow boots for winter, just gaitees with fur on the top. No wonder they coughed in the morning, should their boots leak snow water and slob. Now we had lots of paint, but was matchless. No mink in the closet did hang. No powder went on with a puff, boys. It always went off with a bang. Sister, as a young girl, went fishing on the Labrador, fearless and bold. Often she sailed outside Fogo, so she knows all about rock and roll. Now the young have a new style of dancing. We can thank the old fellers for this, because on the stern of a punt casting capelin, that's where they invented the twist.
Goodbye.
At May month we all went in collar, recess time we all went to sea. A schooner hove down on our beam ends, made ready for the codfishery. Oh, those were the days to be living. The weather was fine, you could bet, and a guy had to fall off the stage head. There was no other way to get wet. Us boys didn't mind a small ducking, we were too tough to catch any coal. Lassie tea and an old mug and toutons is the reason for this, I am told. Oh yes, we had some hard winters when we took off in over the hill to cut a few junks for the old stove to keep out the cold winter chill. We had a big rock bar wood pile for cleaving the hard knotty spruce, and when we could find an old hatchet, we chopped till the top teeth were loose. At night we crawl into the feathers, too tired to get any sleep, too poor to buy any tablets, so all we could do was count sheep. Now progress has everything altered. Those back-breaking chores are no more. Automobile, TV, and aeroplanes have brought the whole world to our door. Stages and stores have all vanished. Once gone, they will never come back. Sure, there's scarcely a flake left to crawl under, should we have an atomic attack. I suppose it's the way of the world, boys. Things changes as time marches on. And when she's straightened out for good living, your ticker gives out and you're gone. King of all birds, St. Stephen's Day is counting the furs. Oh, Mike, your part. Dough is little.
Dough is little, Henry great, but up the rain, give us a
Up with a kettle, down with a pen. One
penny or two, turn the rain. Pocket full of money and a cellar full of beer. We wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Hey!
Yes, what about the wren, Leo? Where did that originate in the first place?
Oh, Mother made that come from Ireland 1,000 years ago, I suppose.
Yes.
1,000 years ago, yeah. That was a great bit of fun, that wren. He's only a little small bird, see?
Yes.
How it started off, the story as I has it, a little tiny bird and the eagle were having a race. And the little bird got under, the wren got under the eagle's wing. And when the eagle got tired of flying so high, the wren certainly was resting all this time, and he came out from under the eagle's wing, and he went on up through the line of frost and into the line of snow.
Yeah.
So he was the king of the birds, see?
Okay.
So now, this Christmas and every other Christmas, see, we get a bullbird,
Yeah.
and we freeze it, and we tie it on the top of the tree, and a little tree about 3 feet long, like a Christmas tree. And then every house we go to, then the people at that house would put a bit of ribbon or some ornament on our tree to decorate it. And by the time then we get to all the houses, which we leave my place in Boys Cove about 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the morning, and we get back again, and a pot of soup cooked, of course. And Ryan didn't be getting tired by that time. And every house we go to, we'd only stay 5 or 10 minutes in each house, see? Because we had to go to so many houses. So we end up 12 or 1 o'clock in the night, And then...
Would you have square dance?
Oh, square dance, yeah, but you dance one bar in each house. We couldn't stay in one house long enough to dance all, see? Just one bar in a house. And then whoever could sing would sing. We'd have accordion, mouth organ, guitar and all that. Oh, it was the best part of Christmas. Oh, we had the best time. It was the best part of Christmas. Best part of it.
You should do it, Leo.
Oh, my son, it was a wonderful time that ran. It's the best of Christmas, that is. Mike, you like the ran, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the best time. Go out tomorrow morning?
You go out tomorrow
Yeah,
morning?
indeed. You had to go out in the rain, yes, sir. Yeah, we had to go out in the rain. Guaranteed.
Got to sing grandfather's tune.
Oh, Mike, just come here and sing grandfather's tune for me. Now, we sing this in the rain to grandfather's tune. Sing it, Mike.
Yeah. Oh, the dang dee 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 dang dee
Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on our open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride on our open sleigh.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Oh, what fun it is to ride on our open sleigh.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Boy, good job. Good job, Mike. Now, I'll give you the Goodyear Hall of Fame. Last night as I lay sleeping, I had a pleasant dream. I dreamt I was in heaven in the Goodyear Hall of Fame. The Goodyears, they were all there, the big boss and the small, along with his brush cutters who worked at Churchill Falls. I saw all the chainsaws, but they were silent at that time, after cutting miles of right-of-way for the Churchill power line. And on the wall hung a token of the frost and bitter cold. It was the brush cutter snowshoes. They were made from solid gold. And in there in the lineup was our big Cat 8. There was music from our motors with young Blackwood in the seat. It was the same big yellow cat that leveled down the hills and made a road through virgin forest for our snowmobiles. On a little further I stopped to take a look, and there was the big yellow bus that took us to and from our work. With Harvey Hicks to get you there, boys, you need not time her. He was a chainsaw mechanic and also our bus driver. Then just around the corner I stopped to wipe away a tear, and I saw Leo Donoghue in a yellow bombardier. And the man that stood beside him, I guess you all know who. It was Duncan Wibb from Gander Bay on a shiny bright skidoo. Next I met our super, Roy Noseworthy by name, giving orders to his foreman in the Goodyear Hall of Fame. I don't remember what he said, but to bring my song to rhyme, Gerald told Cease to ask him what he paid for overtime. Next I met St. Peter with King Goodyear by the hand. He said, "Welcome here to heaven, boy, I heard about your plan. Go back and tell Joe Smallwood you'll answer all his calls, and with your strong brush cutters you could build Lord Churchill Falls." The skipper then got ready and started at his plan, and then St. Peter sent him back home to Newfoundland. He called his crew around him and says to one and all, "Come on, me boys, to Labrador, let's complete Churchill Fall." Then I woke from my dream. I don't remember more, but all the homes in heaven now has a light on every door.
Leo, sing the state recitation your brother Tom made up.
There's a place that's fair to me, it's dear in the Bay of Notre Dame. Boyd's Cove is the spot on the map just a dot that's never been noted for fame. But there I was born on an old Christmas morn, there I spent my boyhood days, and it's up to me now to get used to somehow those typical towny ways. Can a fellow like me who lived by the sea with ropes and traps and twines forget those days in my outport ways, although I worked hard sometimes? But when day's work was done, we had lots of fun, as all of us outporters do. We would dance and sing songs, and where I belongs, we all likes a drink of home brew. At the end of the day, the town folk will say, oh, there's a big movie tonight, or there's a big dance at the Connolly Club where the orchestra plays with delight. But boys, give me the school with an Ann on a stool and an old accordion patched on the ribs. All the ways around shore, you'll hear the boys roar as they dance to the old-fashioned jigs. Hi, boys, we got to go, I suppose. Well, Merry Christmas to you. We all got to go. Go over to the next house, get another drink, Mike. Yeah. See you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas.
You have been listening to a Tibbs Eve party at Boyd's Cove, Notre Dame Bay. On the program, you heard William Martin on the accordion, Leo and Gert Pierce, and Mike Burry sang, while Leo Donahue recited his own poetry. We would like to thank Mrs. Bride Donahue and the good people of Boyd's Cove for their kind hospitality. By the way, if you don't know the meaning of Tibbs Eve, well, it's the day before Christmas Eve, traditionally observed by the early Irish settlers in Newfoundland. Before we go, we'd like to send congratulations to Leo and Ruby Donahue, who were married recently. The program was produced by Hiram Silk.
We go, a little more dough, boys, a little more dough.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Miss Donahue.
Leo! Come on, Leo, you sing Flossie Stripe for us now, Leo boy. We're going to have a good time Christmas.
In the angry month of April, a man from the outside got tired of a single life and married Flossie Stripe. Wear the white shoes and my stocking. She's both tall and slim, she's up at their complexion, but would not marry Jim. They get the Oh, you birds pictures has been hard, being a lucky sight to see him riding across the ice with the bride all dressed in white. Wear the white shoes in my stocking. She's both tall and slim, she's up at their complexion, but would not marry Jim. Oh, when we rode up to the church, the cup they were but few, the gates they were all lit up for those couples who walked through. Wear the white shoes in my stocking. She's both tall and slim, she's up at their complexion, but would not marry Jim. To get this bride from Narza's arm, we toiled both night and day, but on the 18th day of May we got her on her way. Wear the white shoes in my stocking. She's both tall and slim, she's up at their complexion, but would not marry Jim. Oh, coming out of Narza's arms, smokes they been her guide. We kept away per bot, but before the wind and tide. Wear the white shoes in my stocking. She's both tall and slim, she's up at their complexion, but would not marry Jim. Run down middle on Turtle Island, we had the trimmer tight. We had to get the bride on deck to see how we were right. Wear the white shoes in my stocking. She's both tall and slim, she's up at their complexion, but would not marry Jim. The run being over hell with smoke, fire broke out that day, and just above Change Islands our skipper lost his way. Wear the white shoes in my stocking. She's both tall and slim, she's up at their complexion, but would not marry Jim. Oh, now she's down on Jobet's arm, she do not give a rip. She kicks Tom out at 4 o'clock to go and haul the trap. Wear the white shoes in my stocking. She's both tall and slim, she's up at their complexion, but would not marry Jim. Been a beautiful wedding, as you may understand, and Punch and Loud did ramble out through that woody land. Wear the white shoes in my stocking. She's both tall and slim, she's up at their complexion, but would not marry Jim. Oh, 4 o'clock the wedding sees those couple went to bed, and when they woke in the morning, 3 codnets on their head. Wear the white shoes in my stocking. She's both tall and slim, she's up at their complexion, but would not marry Jim. So now me song is in, I hope I'll please ye all. There's a good sign in the codnets, but nothing on the trawl. Wear the white shoes in my stocking. She's both tall and slim, she's up at their complexion, but wouldn't marry Jim.
Well, Bill Magnus, take a burn. Well, take a burn. Come for a little dance now, boys. Atta, boys. Celebrate, boys.
Hey, boys.
Come on, Kurt, dance it, Kurt. Hello, Kurt. Hey! Hello, Bill has one of our boy, a good old stag of early here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're having a great time here today. I wish all my friends could be here, and I have quite a few around the coast of Newfoundland. I wish you could come in, boys. We're having a great party here. This is Rand Day now. I call it Rand Day. It's Boxing Day, but Rand Day, I call it. And for those of you that don't know what the Rand mean, well, that's a little Christmas tree I take on my back now after this party is over and go to every house in Boyd's Cove. And it comes from Ireland, goes back, oh goodness, 500 years. And we still keep it up I don't know if it's foolish or not, but anyway, we still do it. It's a part of Christmas, as far as I'm concerned. Go to every house.
I don't know.
And that's what we be doing here all night and all day. Now, I have a little song here, me and my brother put together. No good to sing, but anyway, this is the way she goes. It's about hard times, as I was born and raised. And I figure it's a part of the rain, because the rain come along in the hard times, in the dirty 30s. So, boys, this is the way she goes. Last night as I lay on my pillow, I dreamt of the days that had fled. And I said to myself, it's a far cry from the days when I was a lad. My thoughts took me back o'er the decades to the years when the going was tough. We were all hugged by old man depression, and often his whiskers was rough. The old folk will say that I'm foolish to let the cat out of the bag, but the young folks don't know what a struggle went on for each bite and each rag. Our girls had no snowsuits for winter, just gaitees with fur on the top. No wonder they coughed every morning, sure their boots leaked snow water and slob. Now we had lots of paint, but 'twas matchless. No mink in the closet did hang. No powder went on with a puff, boys. It always went off with a bang. Sister, as a young girl, went fishing on the Labrador, fearless and bold. Often she sailed outside Fogo, so she knows all about rock and roll. Now the young have a new style of dancing. We can thank the old fellers for this, 'cause on the stern of a punt cast in Capeland, that's where they invented the twist. At May month we all went in colour, recess times we all went to sea. A schooner hove down on her beam ends, made ready for the cod fishery. Oh, those were the days to be living. The weather was fine, you could bet. And a guy had to fall off the stage head. There was no other way to get wet. Us boys didn't mind a small ducking. We were too tough for to catch any coal. Lassie tea and an old mug in Toutons is the reason for this, I am told. Oh yes, we had some hard winters when we talked off in over the hill to cut a few jugs for the old stove to keep out the cold winter chill. We had a big rock by our wood pile for cleaving the hard knotty spruce, and when we could find an old hatchet, we chopped till the top teeth were loose. At night we'd crawl into the feathers, too tired to get any sleep, to pour for the boy any tablets, so all we could do was count sheep. Now progress has everything altered. Those back-breaking chores are no more. Automobiles, TV, and airplanes have brought the whole world to our door. Stages and stores have all vanished. Once gone, they will never come back. Sure, there's scarcely a flake left to crawl under should we have an atomic attack. I suppose it's the way of the world, boys. Things changes as time marches on. But when she's straightened out for good living, your old ticker gives out and you're gone. All right, come on, right? The grandfather's tune. Take them out order. Now, Mike, sing the first, Jigabin. Sing grandfather tune, Mike. Now, play it, Mike. Play it now. old-fashioned Christmas here. I'll guarantee you I'd like to have the friends I have around the east coast of Newfoundland here tonight. We're having a grand old night. And we have our special guest, is Iron Silk, and our number one guest, he goes beyond specialist, Mr. Fred Berry. He came to the house when I was a boy. I can remember very well as I was looking down to the phone hole, seeing if Santa Claus was coming, and Uncle Fred Berry was in my house singing George Elford Beckett. And that concerns a murder that took place in the mainland, but this man belonged to Newfoundland, and it's quite a number of years ago. I'd say it'd go back 50, maybe 70 years ago. And as I say, looking for Santa Claus to come, I looked down at the phone hole, and here was Uncle Fred and Dad, and he's singing George Elford Beckett. And I'm so glad to have him here again tonight with us. He's at last an old singing stock. So Uncle Fred, come and sing it for us, boy.
George Elford Beckett is my name, as you may understand. I was reared up by honest parents in dear old Newfoundland, in a pleasant little village, most beautiful and grand, near the Atlantic Ocean, a place called Pelican. My parents raised me tenderly, and the truth I will make known. The good advice they gave to me when I was leaving home. My mother prayed for my return, as she oft times done before. The day I leave to sail away far from my native shore, to the coal fields of Cape Breton, I then my course did stray, and seeking for employment I landed in Glaze Bay. What little did my parents think when they bid me goodbye, that this awful crime I would commit and would be condemned to die. One evening in last autumn, as you may understand, to drive me out of town rode I engaged a taxi man. What little did he ever think I had an iron bar, that these awful wounds he would inflict and would rob him in his car.
Goodbye.
It was then I made a quick escape, for to get home was my plan. I left Glaze Bay and sailed away back home to Newfoundland. But in a few weeks later the police they got on my trail, and they arrested me for murder. I was brought to St. John's Jail. From that back to Cape Breton, my trawler there to stand, and never more again to see my own, my native land. The jury found me guilty, and the judge made this reply: on the 30th day of April, for this murder you must die. I wish to thank all my dear friends that were so kind to me, my clergy and my lawyer who tried for to set me free. Likewise the warden of the jail who courage to me gave. Long may he live to enjoy his health while I am in my grave. My life is almost to an end, and my days are just a few. Take my advice and happy live, and avoid all trouble too. Don't never murder any man, whatever else you'll do. Or like me, you will die on the gallows high at the age of 42. George Alfred Beckett is my name. From this world I now must part. For the murder of Nick Marshall, I am sorry to the heart. And now I have to face my God all on this very day. And when I am on the trap hatch, good Christians for me pray.
Good morning, old man. God bless you, old man. Now, Bill, give the show, Bill.
Oh, first when I went courting my bonny young Irish boy, he kissed me and he called me his pride and only joy. 'Twas down in London City, a place called Notre. 'Twas there my bonny young Irish boy courted me that came. He courted me for 12 long years, but now has took a flight. For I'll pack all my clothing and follow him by night. And when I searched in London, in dear old London town, they told me my bonny was married to a lady of renown. But when the meadows are sparkling green, the valleys are bright and gay, where me and my bonny young Irish boy spend many's a happy days. His teeth were like the ivory, his cheeks were like the rose. He breaks the heart of any young girl, no matter where he goes.
Hello, Mike.
So now, my friends, I'm dying, 'tis one more request I'll say. Go take my bones to Ireland and bury them in the clay, and mark upon my tombstone to show that passes by that I die broken-hearted for my body young Irish boy.
Uncle Fred, since you're our number one guest, Armsingle's only second-hander tonight because you're one of the old-timers. You give us that real old-timing that my Uncle Dan used to sing.
Peter Street.
What's the name, Uncle Fred?
Peter Street.
Come on, Uncle Fred. With Peter Street.
I went on shore the other night, I scarce had £30. I went on shore the other night, a fair one I did meet. She so kindly asked me to a dance in Peter Street. She said, if you'll come along with me, the distance it is not far. She said, if you'll come along with me, I'll meet you in a car. The people on the other side, I thought I heard them say, oh, Frid, me chap, you'll get a crap before you comes away. I paid no attention to them, for I was not alone. Me darling and myself that night we danced a merry tune. Me darling and myself that night we danced a merry tune. And you see, my dear, we'll soon appear in a chamber all alone. I had not long been in the bed, for I was fast asleep. My darling with me watching close out of the room to creep. My darling with me watching close, and 30 pounds instead. She left me there alone, starting to get on the bed. When I awoke, came to myself, but nothing could I see but a woman's shirt and apron, all for to cover me. I wrung my hands, I tore my hair, oh, crying, what shall I do? It's fare you well to Wigan's town, I will bid it all adieu. When everything was silent, at the hour of 12 o'clock, I put on my shirt and apron and strolled out on the dock. And when I got on board my ship, the sailors they did say, oh, Fred, me chap, you got a crap since you've been gone away. Is this the new spring fashion that the ladies have on shore? Where is the shop you bought it in, or is there any more? The captain answered, Frid, me chap, are you from Wigan's town? Oh, you might have bought a better suit than that for 30 pound. I might have bought a better suit, but I didn't get the chance. I met a girl in Peter Street, she asked me to a dance. I danced my old instruction, I got stripped from head to feet, and upon my soul no more I'll go to a dance in Peter Street.
Now, Gert. No. Come on, Gert, you got to sing that. Come on, Gert, sing one verse, Gert.
Many's the homes are filled with sorrow and with sadness. Many a heart is torn with anguish and with pain. But there's one gay lad who left the old folks grieving, just riding down across the foam. When the moon shines down tonight upon the water, and his heroes down in main in silent sleep, may they rest in peace, the loved ones that are sleeping on the shores of Havana far away. Suddenly there came a loud explosion, like a stone of wreck she sank down in the bay, and 300 noble-hearted seamen perished on the shores of Havana far away. When the moon shines down tonight upon the water, and his heroes down in main in silent sleep, may they rest in peace, the loved ones that are sleeping on the shores of Havana far away. Some were thinking of their mothers, wives, and sweethearts. Some were thinking on the dear ones lived at home. But there's one gay lad who left the old folks grieving, just writing down across the foam.
Well, we're soon going to go to the next house now, boys. Now, Skipper Fred, I'm so glad you're with us today, boy, because in a long time since you've been with us. Better right here. Well, we're going to the next house now. You're kindly welcome, boys. You're kindly welcome for the party. And I'm so glad to have Iron himself here with us today. I'm so glad he's here with us. And Skipper Fred Berry, just a special guest today. Well, Mr. Self, I'm glad you're with us too. Yeah, I'll come back in next year.
Here's all the best, dear. Here's all the best of Mr. Self-Service.
Now here follows a tape I did with Leo Donahue. It's in a box with no information. It's Christmas, an old-time Christmas at Boyd's Cove, and I think it's in the late 1970s.
This Protestant man went to a horse race. He saw a Roman Catholic priest blessing the horse. Well, he said, I must bet. Yeah, that horse you're talking about, Roman Catholic priests, you know, have a bit of power. So he bet $2,000 and doubled the bets. The horse won, he got 4,000. Very good. 6 months later, he went to another race. And here's the same priest blessing a different horse, and he bet 4,000 that he won, and he doubled his bets. $8,000 bangle. Very good. He's keeping this as a secret. He's not telling anyone belonging to him. None of his friends know this. He watched for the next big race a year later, and the same old priest. Anyway, he bet his 8,000, his car, his home, everything in the world, because he was positive sure he was going to win. Very good. The horse was out in front with about 500 feet from the finish line. Bang, old stone dead on the track. He went up to the priest. He said, you got me round, Father, you got me round. You, he said, I never met you before in my life. How could I hurt or harm you? Well, then he told the priest a story, how he bet him the first time, the second time, he doubled the bets and so on. And he said, I saw you bless the horse this morning, and I bet everything I had in the world, my home, my $8,000 and everything, it's all gone. Well, the priest said, that's the worst fun I've seen you Protestant people. You don't know the difference between a blessing and the last rites. He was giving the horse the last rites. The head man of the Lutheran Church from North Carolina told me that a bit of money going to vote.
Well.
I know this clever little joke, you know.
Sure is. Now, what do you have to...
Fred, show your George up for me. Really nice. Just take your time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to get that on tape. This happened about 10 years ago, and the Irish were buying up a lot of tractor equipment. engines, you know, tractor, diesel stuff. So they sent over a young fellow to, this is used in their farming machines. So they sent over this young fellow to where the tractors made in the United States to take a course on tractor motors. So anyway, he started to go with the girl when he was over there, this American girl, and he had, when he was through with his course, a year. So he said, now if anything ever happened, you will let me know and I'll come back to the United States and I'll marry you. Well, she promised, that's what she do. So anyway, he went back home to Ireland. He never heard from Mary. No talk of her. 3 years later, he had to come back to upgrade because they were putting new gadgets on the diesel motors and everything. He had to come back to another spell to school. So he got out of the plane and he saw a girl with 2 babies in a wheelbarrow. And my God, he said, it's Mary, I'm sure. It looks just like her. Anyway, he had to go out and speak to her. Yes, sure enough, when he got up to the wheelbarrow, it is Mary. My good God, Mary, he said, I thought I told you if anything happened, I promised you that I'd come back and marry you. Why didn't you let me know? Well, she said, Michael Budd is like this. She says, I talked it over with Dad, and Dad said he'd rather have 2 bastards in a wheelbarrow than 1 Irishman in the family. Fish and brews for dinner. This supper, still fresh fish stew. And while they're having dinner, I'm telling some old foolishness. I told her the one about Comfort Cove, you see. The lady was coming down the passenger boat years ago, which you've heard for sure. And one folk while on the boat, and another lady passenger from Comfort Cove. Anyway, she asked where she lived and so on. They got acquainted. I live in Comfort Cove. Comfort Cove, where's that at? Folk while, lady asked. Well, she said, looking out to the porthole of the ship, the boat. Camel, you see, he was right in, you look in. Well, I said, look, here's Camel, a right beam of Camel, when it comes on down along like the boat is going, and you go, this is 9 Mile Point right here, and right up here is Comfort Cove. Boys, you'll never forget that. So when they had all their dinner finished, she said, Leo, you had no dessert for dinner, joking with me. Boy said, that's the way I operate. I tell stories, you're supposed to fill up them with save on dessert. Dessert is very expensive. Inflation got it drove mad. My God, I thought she'd die. So this is why I get down when you're having your dinner. Tell you all this, and you want any dessert. So I had open pudding because it's costly.
Better than any dessert.
Yes, come on, Fred.
I guess I forget so now.
Well, boy, you'll hear it on the radio. Now, make sure that one goes on up again.
I don't know if I can. Anyway, I'll go.
Probably, yeah.
Never do it. Georgia Ferd Bickett. Never do it. Georgia Ferd Bickett is my name, as you may understand. I was reared up by honest parents in dear old Newfoundland. In a pleasant little village, most beautiful and grand, near the Atlantic Ocean, a place called Old Pearlican. My parents raised me tenderly, and the truth I will make known. The good advice they gave to me when I was leaving home. My mother prayed for my return, as she oft times had done before. The day I leave to sail away from my native shore. To the coal fields of Cape Breton, then my course did stray, and seeking for employment I landed in Glades Bay. What little did my parents think when they bid me goodbye, that this awful crime I would commit and would be condemned to die. One evening in last autumn, as you may understand, to drive me out of town, rode I engaged a taxi man. What little did he ever think I had an iron bar. These awful wounds he would inflict, and would rob him in his car. It was then I made a quick escape, for to get home was my plan. I left Glaze Bay and sailed away back home to Newfoundland. But in a few weeks later, the police, they got on my trail. They arrested me for murder. I was brought to St. John's Jail. From that back to Cape Breton, my trial law there to stand, and never more again to see my native land. The jury found me guilty, and the judge made this reply. On the 30th day of April, for this murder you must die. I wish to thank all my dear friends that were so kind to me, my clergy and my lawyer who tried for to set me free. Likewise the warden of the jail who courage to me gave. Long may he live to enjoy his health while I am in my grave. My life is almost to an end, and my days are just a few. Take my advice and happy live, and avoid all trouble too. Don't never murder any man, whatever else you'll do. Or like me, you'll die on the gallows high at the age of 42. George Alfred Beckett is my name. From this world I now must part. For the murder of Nick Marshall, I am sorry to the heart. And now I have to face my God all on this very day. And when I am on the trap hatch, good Christians for me pray. Now,
Goodbye, Uncle Fred.
it's right to his head.
Now, isn't that
Excellent. What about the song? Can you tell us about that song? Where was that? Where did it originate?
The first ever I heard of it, Arm, was Uncle Fred here singing it. But that's the first ever I heard of you singing it at the house as a boy.
Where did you hear it, Fred?
Oh, in the Lumberwood, sir, from some.
How long ago did this murder happen? About 50 years ago, do you think?
Yes, it's all that.
Is that
I would
right?
say. But I mean, you don't sing the song, eh?
And you can remember all those verses after all that time.
Oh, yes. I can.
Uncle Fred, you had some happy Christmases. And you're going to enjoy this one with us.
Oh, yes, for sure. Well, it's all Christmas up here. Oh, Christmas. Wasn't like there too.
Yeah, you're happy.
That's the main thing, isn't it?
There's Joe down there, and there's Mike, Frank, and there's Isabel now. And what? Get it! Shocking. Didn't work.
That's some good times, eh?
Uncle Fred, a lot of your old buddies are dead of your buddies in your day now.
Just about all gone now.
Yes, boy.
All the buddies is gone, eh?
Your buddies just about all dead.
I always had a good time Christmas, though.
Oh, the
No
very
matter
best.
how bad the times were, eh?
Didn't make a difference, sir. How bad the times were. We always had to drop south.
Yeah. 12 days spent, I suppose, in your day.
12 days.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do a thing, I suppose. No work.
Not a tap, only drink. And eat.
At the same time.
The same song.
All kinds of good food, eh?
All kinds of good food, oh yes.
You always had the ceremony of the wren, eh?
It's the ceremony of the wrens, that's for sure, eh?
Yeah.
Eh?
The wren.
You were born here, were you, Fred, in this place?
I was born here, yes, sir. Born right here.
Where did you people come from? Pogo originally?
Pogo. me old skippers come ringling in the first place.
And now I'm speaking with Mr. John Freak. And Mr. Freak, you're 84 years old, is that right?
Right.
Now, we're near the Christmas season. I suppose you've seen a great change in the way Christmas is observed, eh?
Well, in my day, when I was, well, say from 14 up until I married, 25, and for many, many years after that, Christmas was the main fun here in this place. Every kind. We had no halls. We had no places to go and dance and all this, but we'd have our dances in the houses. You'd have in one man's house or a woman's house tonight, and perhaps tomorrow night now we'd be somewhere else. And there have been times in Christmas that you'd have 2 or 3 dances on at the one time. Remember that now? Up in Boyd's Harbour there'd be 1 or 2 up there, and down here in Boyd's Cove there'd be another 1 or 2 down here, and there'd be lick it to a jingle, and plenty of moonshine, you know. Plenty of moonshine. We'd have our moonshine before Christmas. Of course, that'd be bottled up and fixed away into be good stuff. You could have the high proof or the not so good proof moonshine. You could have it taken off at the first run, or you could have it rerun, and of course that was the extra proof, you see. Well, now how we lost that, I can't tell you. But it gradually died out. As I think the government got after the people, and they did catch a couple of them down around here that was brewing their own liquor, and fined them and all this kind of stuff, and it finally died out. Now that's the moonshine racket. But now that was a good thing to have in Christmas, you see. But now we send in to St. John's and get our liquor come out from J.D. Ryan's from St. John's. That was a liquor store there that we always got our liquor from St. John's. Well, you get a bottle, you get a jar, 4-gallon jar, for about $4, $1 a gallon. A gallon, 4-gallon jar. I got one here now somewhere. I had one. That's when I was married. Now that's what I had, 4 gallons of rum, and I had that from. Had it come down around the old Clyde, you know, that's years and years ago. That's 60-odd years ago now, when I was married, 60-odd years ago. Well, I had that come down here on the Clyde, not from St. John's. That was brought from Lewisport on the Clyde, yeah. But we used to have the good old times, you know, it was all square dances. Well, we did have reels and cotillions. But I don't think that I'd be able to go through that now. And when I was young, 15 or 16 years old, you know, I'd be dancing all night.
What did you have for music?
Oh, cardians, and the best musicians is in Newfoundland. Today, they can't match them in St. John's. They can't match those fellows in St. John's. Although they got some very good cardian players there in St. John's. Guarantee you that. But we got them here in Boys Cove today now, can beat them every time, because there's not a tune, Irish or English or Scotch or what have you. But they knows them there, the fellas are playing those cardians, they knows those tunes, and they can surely rattle it out. If you want a 1-step, 2-step, or a 3-step, get out and dance it out, boys. And we got boys there now too, can do the same thing. They can surely dance.
Now, next we have here to sing a song for us is Leo Pierce. And it concerns about building a government wharf. That's back in Lady Squires' time, the government. And they had a heck of a row over that, you know. Oh, there was days they rowed over it. One crowd wanted the wharf built on the south side of the harbour, and the people on the north side wanted that side of the harbour. This is what caused the row about it, you see. But anyway, after it took months before they got all peacified. Anyway, one old fellow here, and he composed a song about it in Boys Cove. So here's a man to sing it for you now by the name of Leo Pierce.
They started the war from Boys Cove last year. They stayed as a pattern from Southampton Pier. There's Mr. Bean chairman of the road board last year, and they says by your stock he'll build up in a tear, and it's row, bullies row, for the boys are done by, they got her in tow. Husband went over on shore on Freakside to see if was water and up for the Clyde. Jersey was there with the whole cut and all. Oh, this was the water we measured last fall, and it's row, bullies row, for the boys are and by, they got her in tow. When Titus he heard the wharf was gone, I went to his head as he scrabbled along. Across the harbour was keeping a hop. He landed on Donner in Pilly's shop, and it's row, bullies row, for the boys are and by, they got her in tow. They are another fellow, his name I'll not say, oh perhaps he all knows him is the cause of the fray. Was on Monday morning he acted so sly, oh he was the cause of McDonald's eye, and it's row, bullies row, for the boys are and by, they got her in tow. When Ellen heard the wharf was gone, they are under a fellow, his name I'll not say, oh perhaps he all knows him is the cause of the fray. Was on Monday morning he acted so sly, oh he was the cause of McDonald's eye, and it's row, bullies row, for the boys are and by, they got her in tow.
Thank you very much, Leo. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have one of the oldest, I would think he would be the oldest residents of this little settlement of Boyd's Cove in our presence tonight, and I'm very glad to have him here. I'm sure all the boys is. By the name of Fred Berry, and they have a song which goes back a lot of years. It's been sang to this house ever since I've been a boy, and it concerns a murder that happened, and it's really happened. George Elford Beckett is the name of it. I don't remember exactly the settlement. Oh, I'm afraid where did it happen at? In Old Purlican. That's where it took place. So Fred Berry's here tonight, and he's going to sing it for us. Now, come on, Uncle Fred. All right, lay it on, Uncle Fred. Can't do it. Oh, Uncle Fred is coming. Hey, Uncle Fred. Oh, good. My son even sing it.
Can't do it. Yeah. How do you know, eh? When you get on low. Hey? Can't do it, see?
Just a little back. No, you're back a little bit. That's good enough there. That's just about right there, I think. All right, right there. Come on, Fred.
George Elford Beckett is my name, as you may understand. I was reared up by honest parents in dear old Newfoundland, in a pleasant little village, most beautiful and grand, near the Atlantic Ocean, a place called Old Purlican. My parents raised me tenderly, and the truth I will make known. The good advice they gave to me when I was leaving home. My mother prayed for my return, as she oft times had done before. The day I leave to sail away, far from my native shore. To the coal fields of Cape Breton, I then my course astray, and seeking for employment, I landed in Glaze Bay. What little did my parents think when they bid me goodbye, that this awful crime I would commit, and would be condemned to die. One evening in last autumn, as you may understand, to drive me out of town road, I engaged a taxi man. What little did he ever think I had an iron bar, that these awful wounds he would inflict, and would rob him in his car. It was then I made a quick escape, for to get home was my plan. I left Glaze Bay and sailed away back home to Newfoundland. But in a few weeks later, the police, they got on my trail, and they arrested me for murder. I was brought to St. John's Jail. From that back to Cape Breton, my trawler there to stand, and never more again to see my native land. The jury found me guilty, and the judge he made this reply: on the 30th day of April, for this murder you must die. I wish to thank all my dear friends who were so kind to me, my clergy and my lawyer who tried for to set me free. Likewise the warden of the jail who courage to me gave, and long may he live to enjoy his health while I am in my grave.
I hope you enjoyed it, ladies and gentlemen. And now, here's our top man here at the harbour now with the accordion again for another good old-fashioned jig. Come on, Bill. Come on, Bill. One of them we used to play in the old-fashioned square dances. What about the Tilling Harbour close in, Bill? Try that one for us. No, but I never could sing. A is for abundance, and this we all need, and B is for boats or the water to speed. C is for capelin and codfish likewise, and D is for daylight, the time we all rise. So merry, so merry, so merry are we, no mortal on earth like a fisher at sea. Blow high or blow low, sure we're jogging along. Give us a fair call and there's nothing goes wrong. Come on, next letter. E. E is for engines on them we rely, and F is for the freezer, our bait dear wee boy. G is for grapple, 5 claws and a ring, and H is for herring, first bait in the spring. I'm not going to sing the chorus. After every 3 letters, we'll sing the chorus. Next letter. I is for the inspector that turns down the slime, and J is for jiggers, we bends on our lines. K is for killie, made of wood, rock and nails, and L is for loss, we wears in our sails. M is for mackerel, meshes and mast, and N is for the nails that keeps our plank fast. O is for oakum, P is for prong, 2 sharp pointed steels with a handle this long. Q is for Kentle, R is for rise, and S is for the steamer that brings our supplies. T is for tomcod, the tide they do stem. U is for under, and V is for vin. W is for whales around us do blow, and we have X in our gangboards to keep them just so. Y is for Yankee, a bump and a twist, and a Z, that's for a zipper. That's a breeze from the west. That's not the right tune. But after every 3 letters, you're supposed to sing the chorus. Oh, he could sing. And Dr. Wolfrey's little boy, Michael, you might know, and I tried to learn him. And when I meet him now I says, come on for W. W is for the whale, and then he, around us do blow. He forgets things like that. He got it just about all. Like J is for jigger, but he can't follow up with it.
Right.
Leo, you've been to the Funk, say the famous Bird Island.
I made 3 trips there on King Goodyear's boat, Sylvia Joyce. And the first trip I went there, I had Aaron sons from England, and also some people from St. John's, Aaron sons.
Was that your first trip there?
That was our first trip there, yeah. We went to Musgrave Harbour, the boys go, and I picked up the party, and I had Captain Sam Arrow. He was a pilot, because I was never there before at that time. So we... First day out, it got too stormy. We had to come back to Solomon for a while and stay all night. The next day was a beautiful day. A little hazy, visibility about 2 miles, something like that, mile and 3/4. And I loved this, the first sight of land. Like I went up on the south coast, the first time I saw St. Pierre. The first sight, I wanted to see it for the first time. So anyway, about a mile and a half away, I saw it in the port bow.
You smelled it before then, didn't you?
No, you could. If the wind had been blowing from the Funks in my direction, you'd smell it easily. But it was blowing different direction. So anyway, next thing, there was land, all right, and a little later on, about a half a mile away, there's a lot of white rocks. I thought it was white rocks, but it turned out to be gannets. They're in thousands, and they're all together, look like well, I tell you, it looked like a lot of sheep on a hillside, white sheep on a hillside. So anyway, the gannets got it's like you and I share up land. The gannets got the west end, and they take up just about half the island, not half. Then the Turs take on. The Turs got the majority of the island. It's all Turs. And on the east end, they have that split again then for about 200 feet, and it's also split in 2 again, and there's tick-lace on one side and seagulls on the other.
They don't mix, eh?
They don't mix, only with the noise of the boat, it'll frighten them. They might mix a little in, but not that much. And they tell me that when they lay their eggs, just right in line, as straight as you draw the tape across the island, there's eggs on this side Turs, the other side gannets, and the same thing with the gulls. And the smell is about the same as you had 20 or 30 hens buried in a small house all the winter. You feed them in this house like Mom used to have years ago, and that's about the same smell you get. I'd say it's worse. You'll easily smell it half a mile with the wind blowing off the island in your direction. And you won't see the sun. There's times you'll close the sun in like a dark cloud when you drive a lot of birds in the area. Like you blow the horn and frighten them, and there's certain times you'll close the sun in. And the drippings then, you'd want rubber gloves on the deck of the boat when you close the, not the only drippings coming down.
There must be hundreds of thousands there, eh?
Oh, I'd say they're in millions.
They're in millions. There's no doubt they're in millions.
But what about the noise? It must be a terrific noise.
Oh,
too.
terrific noise. Birds.
So all in all, with noise and smell and
Noise and
spectacle,
smell.
it's
That's
quite
right.
a sight, isn't it?
That's right.
What about those people that you took out, the passengers? Were they impressed with it?
Oh, they're real impressed with it. They asked me, is any women ever landed on before? And as far as I know, no. But I found out later there was from Twillingate.
Right.
And but up that time I didn't know. So anyway, when I told them they were the first lady passengers ever landed the Funks, well, that made them feel real good.
Well, what? This is about 3 years ago, eh?
About 3 years ago. Yeah. But Dr. Olds was out there from Twillingate with some people from Twillingate.
Yes, I heard
There had been people on the island before, women, I mean, on the island before.
Did you get any pictures of it, Leo?
No, but they took a lot, right? I don't have any pictures. Oh, it's a beautiful place. You should visit there sometime. It's beautiful.
One of the natural wonders of the world,
It
isn't it?
certainly is, yeah. And the steps are there in the cliff for you to land. You wouldn't be able to go in your boat that you went out in, the larger boat. You'd have to have a lifeboat. And you push your lifeboat stern in. You'd have someone rowing. That's the right way to operate the Funks. You'd have a lifeboat, you'd have a set of oars, and you push your boat stern into this little bench. And the cliff is smooth, or you just tilt a little bit, but you one hook to tear your boat, or even take the paint off. That's about all I'll do, take the paint off, if she struck. So, as the tide comes in, then your passenger will make the step out. Now, the tide falls real fast then. It runs down up and down about 7 or 8 feet. That's about a good day. It's going up and down 7 or 8 feet. So as you're approaching the lifeboat again, you'd make the step for your boat when you get about 10 to 12 inches from your feet. You make the step and you'll just come level. If you wait till you come level, she'll fall away and you'll fall in the boat. That's what'll happen then.
But that must be quite a bad spot in a storm, right?
Yeah, I often wonder did the sea go over it, but I don't think it does because there's grass and the sods on top. So there may be spray go over it, but I wouldn't say there's ever any ocean swell go over it. No.
Quite a big island, isn't it?
I don't know. I never heard any measurement. I'd say 75 to 80 feet high, quarter of a mile long maybe. And it's only narrow, it's long and narrow. That's about the measurement, 75 to 80 feet. A quarter of a mile long and maybe, it's not a quarter of a mile wide, it's less than that width.
That's better.
Used to call me Dr. Dunn for years.
Okay, Doctor. Okay, Doctor, tell me about, you had a passenger boat for years, didn't you? Back and forth from where? From,
I took over from Dad. Dad's run the boat all his life. When he got old, I took over the boat. See?
That's from Boyd's Cove to Lewisport.
Before I had the road connect.
You had some harrowing experiences, eh?
Oh, my son, don't be talking. Those maternity cases was the hardest, see, because they're supposed to be in the hospital Friday. Well, a storm comes up a Wednesday night, and it starts to blow hard. And then they start to say to themselves, suppose I get sick tonight, what am I going to do? All of a sudden, run for Leo, oh my, I'm dying now, I'm dying. Baby's going to be born. So anyway, just come and call me, now I'd leave. I had 3 born in the boat, 1 died. That's the best out of 3. And that was very good for a man with no medical experiences. But I'll tell you, I can laugh about it now, I didn't laugh then. One night I left and the doctor was supposed to meet me. The road at that time was down to Gay side, north side of Birchie Bay. And the doctor was supposed to meet me there, and I left. Me and a teacher, a young man teacher. And before I got halfway to where the doctor was supposed to be at in Gay side, the baby was going to be born. And now, should I come back to Boys Cove where there's an old midwife, this woman is old, maybe she wouldn't be able to do anything for the woman. Should I keep going on to the doctor? The doctor will be there when I get there. I decided I'd keep going. In the meantime, I says to this fellow who's with me, look, if your mother learned you any prayers, if you knows any at all, regardless of what denomination, now is your time, my son, say 'em. And here was I never prayed so hard, never in my life. And this woman crying loud enough to overtop the noise of the engine. And he praying and I praying. That's all we could do. And the motor wide open and it seemed like you weren't moving. Now then, the baby is born. The time I got to Wild Bite, which is another 2 miles to go to see the doctor. The baby's come along. Now, there's an old woman lives in there that used to born hundreds of children, I guess, but she's up in her 80s. Well, if I goes into that dock and goes up to that house to get that lady, and she could be dead far as I know, I'm still losing time going to the doctor. What should I do? I decided I'd keep going to the doctor. When I got up to the dock on the Gay side, north side of Birchie Bay, no doctor. He hadn't turned up. Now then, we haven't got all the job done, you know. I got out of the boat and I had to walk a quarter of a mile to find another old lady that's born children years ago, and got her in a motor car and brought her down to the end of the dock, and the dock was all falling down, and we got her on a fish bar, then a big hen bar we used to take traps on years ago. I'd bring her aboard. By this time, the boat is aground and she's listening on her side. Just get a crowd of men now to upright the boat so she'll take in the dock instead of tipping bottom up with all hands be killed. And that's where I was still on the next day, 9 o'clock. That was the last trip I made. So for that reason, the highway put me out of a living, but it took a lot of worry on me, Joe. Yeah, just hard going. Still now, that baby that died, so the doctors say, would have died if I had to reach the doctor. So that made me feel better. So I haven't talked anyone dying because we had no high road, although it was rough going. And that night I left in Snowville. I had 150 rabbits, dead rabbits, they were corpses. And then I had a baby, was 2 days old, in a box. That was a corpse. And then I sat a woman up on top of that, a corpse, which she didn't know was a corpse, and she ready to die in childbirth, and got a snowmobile stuck at 3 o'clock in the morning, and got a track off where the Cosby Motel is now, and your knees in saltwater slab. And I was there 3 hours before I got that track put back on. And now, I had like to have a good load of corpses that night. There was another night. Out all night long, boots full of slobs, zero weather. This woman sitting in his snowmobile, the child is just about ready to be born any minute. And she's already sitting on a dead baby, and 150 dead rabbits, and I there frozen sitting boots full of slobs.
You can laugh at it now, eh?
I can laugh at it.
But Leo, your father must have had some wonderful tales to tell in his years, eh?
Oh, Dad, all kinds of sickness. You know, you'd be out you'd be out in weathers that you shouldn't be out in at all, and then you were taking so many chances. There's no radars in them days, and you were just taking chances on ice around, and Lord knows what, fog and darkness and everything, see?
The only thing was they had a lot of experience, didn't they? They really knew their roots and that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, that was it. Now, Dad, every course, he have it wrote down from point to point. He'd have it all written down, and he'd know the speed of his boat. So it's good, experience.
So their lives depended on it, didn't it?
That's right, their lives depended. Now, us for guys this day and age, it's not hardly looks at a chart because, or a course, because we had radar. But then, that's what made them so good at boat work. It's because they had the penalty totally on their own judgment and compass. And now, it was great fun. After I going out all this bullshit telling me girl, had her on dock, all kinds of stuff. And they like, now for the ride with her, you see, it was that was funny.
Who's your girlfriend, Leo? Where's she from?
Goodyear Hall.
Goodyear Hall.
215 pounds, 6 foot tall. Barrels of diesel oil. On their side, she can up in them just as fast as you can count. Now, I don't mean she don't lift it up, but tip them from their size, upright them. I'll guarantee you that takes something.
Leo, is it true you brought her in to see the governor?
Oh, yeah, I was telling the governor about her down in Cat Armor on a fishing trip down there for a week. And he didn't believe one turd I told him, see. So I said, I'll prove it. I'm going in St. John's to fall, and me and her's going for a holiday. I'll take her down. He said, be sure and come down. So I phoned him. Where are you at? I said, I'm in St. John's with my brothers. Well, all right. See, he had to wait a minute, and he sees secretary. Special appointment. Now, I was somebody, brother. Not everyone goes in St. John's and gets special time for Lieutenant Governor for 3 hours in the morning. No, me and my girl, sir, walks in. My sonny boy. He showed me every inch of the house, and he took me to the cellar. Well, now, there was about 200 bottles of different wines, rum, whiskey. Well, I said, Your Honor, I see the time when I was drinking. I asked you to close the door for 7 days. And that was a whole week in there. Oh, he's a great guy. I get a kick at him, boy. You know, he's a perfect gentleman, that fellow. Yes.
Leo, did he give you a drink?
Oh, yes, a good drink. All I want. Cigars and liquor.
What about your girlfriend? I suppose she didn't drink, did she?
No. She won't even drink holy water. No, holy water. Salvation Army, the S&A's on each side, my son, the bonnet going. She with a hole. It must be such things as love. Certainly God, eh?
When did you get married, Leo?
I got her on dock. Now, when I get her out of the dock, getting a new keel put in her. She struck her last summer, put a spot off her keel. But she wouldn't be Lancer now and then. I wouldn't marry her.
Don't put it.
Without a radio on the air.
I'll tell you the reason why I picked out a big girl. There's a reason for it. Because, I always thought that if I married a small girl and live here, mother would hammer and there'd be steady a fight. So I want my wife to win naturally. Now then, there's no good in mother saying anything to that, brother. She can take mother and put her thumb in her throat and squat her right to death. So now, I want my wife to be boss. This is my house. And so now, that's the reason I got a heavy-duty one. Yeah. I guarantee you mother won't handle that one. But if it's a little one, the two of them have the house bed up before the fight will be over. But this one will just squeeze mother, and there's no damage done. Whatever, the stove won't be tipped over, the mirrors won't be broken, or anything. But a smaller one, everything will be cleaned out before the fight will be over. That's the reason why I got a big one. I don't care about the looks, so she's strong, powerful. and her mother.
She's some girl, Leo.
Oh, my son, she can cook and work, I guarantee you. Yes, sir.
There she is, side on there.
She's side on there. Now, if she was dim on there, brother, I guarantee you see how wide she is. She's side on there. She's about 3.5 feet across the shoulder, say 6 foot tall.
How many pounds you say?
215 pounds. She was 230. She got 15 pounds took off. Now she's streamlined now. Eh? Well, you see the archway I cut there?
Yeah.
That's the reason I had to survive, look. She's got to turn the side on to get through them doors. I cut that out. They're wide enough. She'd bring up and down. Just how she approaches, like this. If she was here now, this is how she approaches. That's true. I'm going to do like that. That's how she approaches.
Maybe she wear a pantsuit?
Oh, sometimes miniskirt. She don't look good in miniskirt. Her legs are too big and long. The best suit she has on is slacks. Her legs are about the size of a watermelon. My son, heavy girl. She got she asked me what type of car should she buy. Well, I said, buy the heaviest, the biggest one you can find in the Ganner. So she went and she brought out a Mercury, one of the biggest Mercury she can get, with a V8 motor, power steering and everything on her. But she only drove a car around the harbour for about a half hour. She went for her license. She passed the test perfect, but the Mountie knew her a little bit. He said, Ruby, how long you been driving? She said, about 20 minutes. Well, he said, I can't give you a license. Well, she said, what did I do wrong? You passed the test, excellent. But he said, not experienced enough. So I says, now there's the difference in being Salvation Army and a mix. Eh? She wouldn't tell a lie. I said, tell him that jumping big lie, telling you drove 500 miles like I did. No, I'm a liar. Well, all right. And I said, I won, though. I got my license. Now you got to go through it again. So she went back and she drove about 30 miles and she told him she drove 35. Now I said, just as well told him you drove 5 miles of a lie. God won't punish you no more if you put on 500 instead of 5. So anyway, she got this big car. She brought her down the dial. Leo, come for a ride. My son, I was frightened king to death. She said, this is the one to climb the hills. Look, just touch the oil. You haven't got to put the oil halfway to the floor and she go up that mountain. And we tug off up this hill. We put rocks right out in the middle of Little Island Harbour. All right, let's leave for St. John's. I said, yes, all right, and we'll go to St. John's the weekend. We put the car in the ferry and we come into Little Bay. And going up over that road, we got into the fight before we struck the Trans-Canada, and she's praying to get her on the Trans-Canada to see how many miles an hour this car can go. She's ready for 130, 140. And I said, now, Missy, 60 will be plenty, for you especially. So we got into the fight before I reached Springdale, because she's keeping out in the middle of the road on the turns too much. So, all right, we finally arrived at the Trans-Canada. And she started off, 35, 40, 45, 50, 60, 75, and I got clean frightened when she was touching 90. It frightened me clean to death. She said, go away, what are your nerves about? Frightened me right to death. For a girl just starting. She was doing 90 as I got just started, I got right. I was running.
Nerve, eh?
My son, she's an excellent driver. So then, I thought she was a poor driver, and I got the Minister of Highways, Clarence Knight, that time, head in aboard. Now I said, sir, you should know a lot about driving. So I said, get aboard, my girlfriend's car, just two of you, and try her out. So she took him uphill and downhill, and wharfs and in lanes. He come back, he says, the best driver ever is on board with. Well, I said, this is not about good driving, just that she don't know the danger, that's all. She don't know the danger of having a blowout, or, she thinks she's full control of the car all the time. So if I can get her before she kills herself, I'm not going to get her in her car. She got to give up the car and he's married.
Skidoo.
I'll give her a skidoo, yeah. I got a big skidoo bot now. You see that one, a double track? That's what I had her for. She was up the other day and the tubes gets an hour. She flattens the springs on a new one, like the TNTs. The springs can't stand it, see? And now, there's another, if we got a speedy machine, we're going to have to send a bomber there and get special springs, see? Because, I'm 205 and she's 215. You get on one of them slight spring skidoos, flattens them right to the ground. So I got one now with 2 set of tracks, heavy-duty shocks. We gets on her.
Is she a good cook, Leo?
Oh, she can cook. There's no doubt about that, sir. She can cook.
What time you get in snowbank?
She can cook. Oh, yeah, last winter we left to go out, she was up Christmas, and we left to go to her house for a party. And myself and Gerald and his wife, we go on over the snowbanks, and she'd go right down to her waist. We'd go back and we'd pull her out. And she'd get another step and she'd go down. My son, pavement is not anything for her. It's solid rock, like she was born in the island. It's solid rock. She'd put her feet down to concrete, when she's running especially. Yeah. But she's going me some piece of stuff when I get her. Yeah. Mother'll have this lie low, I'll guarantee you that. But she's good to mother, she likes mother. I don't know how long it'll stand.
There she is on board the ship there, right?
She's aboard the boat with me, yeah. Now, when I'm in the place where she's living, I don't have the go on deck to see who's stepping on the deck. When she steps on the deck of Goodyear's boat, she goes down 4 inches. I says, Ruby coming, no trouble at all when she steps on her deck. And she can steer my son, she steered that boat hundreds of miles. Oh, not afraid of water. She can take a boat anywhere, that one. Good mate. I'm going to have her a mate some night. One for girl bar.
That's a nice picture, eh?
Yes, that's a beautiful picture. That's in the pool, Cat Arm. We only had to take the boat about 50 feet. 100 feet the most. Just walking the river with the boat. So we tried out. Then you go in a nice sized pool. And it's deep in that pool. I see the governor, the first cast, the first time ever I saw a cat in my life in rod and reel. And he got several after that in sea trout. And that's where the governor stayed a whole week in that pool. And I told him how there was plenty of other places like Cat Arm, a little Cat Arm, Cooney Arm. No, he said, Leo, leave the anchor down right there. Not even a radio. Can't get radio in there because you're down between two mountains about 400 feet on each side of you. No radio. And we had no means of communication with the outside world at all for a week. And that's the way he liked to have us. But now we were sure that if any emergency would come along, they sent a plane. They knew we were at, see, so Goodyear sent a plane out.
He's a nice old man, isn't he?
He's a beautiful person, yeah, he's a beautiful person. I like him. Not every man you're going to get for governor will come on our level, you know.
Well, he's a Newfoundlander, eh?
Sure, he's a perfect man, man. Yeah?
I don't know, but...
Will you tell me about the woman that died in Fogo?
Oh, yeah, this is about 60 to 70 years ago, see? At that time, well, the Catholics taught if you're a Protestant, you had to go to hell when you die. I suppose the same thing on the Protestant side. But anyway, that's over, thanks be to God. And this woman, Bird Isles, I can't remember her name, Aunt Jane something. She'd be always going down to Tilling Harbour and getting some wool from the people around, other ladies she knew, for knit socks and sweaters and mitts for her husband or two sons. This is how she got her wool for years. She had no sheep of her own. So anyway, after a few years, Aunt Jane died. And they're up covering the church, putting the shingles on the church. One fellow said to the other, boy, he said, Aunt Jane passed away in Bird Isles last night. Yes, the other fellow said, I heard so. And the third fellow spoke up and he said, where do you allow she'll end up to? Where will she go now, her poor soul? And the other fellow said, Christ, hold your tongue, she'd passed for the Lamb of God. This is all the wool she collected, see?
Oh, that's weird, isn't it, eh?
Yeah. And John Ryan down there used to have a business years ago, and this fellow Burke was dealing with him, see? So another guy started a small business. So he left John Ryan, Burke did, and went to the new guy, dealing with him. And I imagine he left him with a good many dollars in debt there, several hundred perhaps. So he switched over to the new guy. And John Ryan met him this cold day in the fall of the year, and he had on the old-fashioned oil clothes, not the rubber stuff, this bright yellow stuff, and just put oil on it. You know how that'd rattle now a cold day. You'd hear you coming, say, 1,000 feet away. So anyway, Ryan says, there's no trouble, he said, to see you, because it's bright yellow. No trouble to see you, and here you, he said, coming with your oilskins rattling. And he said, by God, it's not. He said, and when I was dealing with you, he said, it wasn't me oilskins rattling, it was me guts. Me guts was rattling, I was dealing with you. Boy, you got the wit, you know. Always got the answer for you. I was sitting under my aunt's in Job's Arm one day, and a fellow by the name of Lawrence Brothers was sitting there alongside of me. It was on a lady days about 7 or 8 years ago. We were drinking down beer. There was two girls passing by the road, and I looked through the window, and one girl was a tall girl, red hair, and the other girl was a shorter girl, black hair. And I says to Rupert Penton, I says, Rupert, come here. Who are them girls? Did they belong to Job's Arm? And before Rupert got a chance to tell me who they were, Lawrence Brothers turned around and he says, boy, he said, I'd never seen before. I don't know who they are. But he said, it's the highest and red and lowest and black. A lot of wheat. You always got an answer for you.
What about the wake, Leo?
You ever go to an old-fashioned wake in Fogo?
No, last, what I call old-time wake we had there in Boys Cove. A buddy of mine died. We're having a garden party. And he died in the evening as the garden party was going strong. So I waked him all night, used to keep the garden party going. And daylight come, we had a sheep killed, and we cooked a quarter of mutton. We had 3 or 4 gallons of homebrew, 30 bottles of moonshine, sung songs all night long. But now his mother, she was an old woman, she was asleep. So now when you hear his mother coming, his mother's orders was, when she went to bed around 1 o'clock, that we had to say the rosary every 15 minutes. So all right. When we'd hear her coming, she come down twice during the night after she went to bed. We'd all get on our knees and start saying the Hail Marys and Holy Marys as fast as ever we could. As soon as you go upstairs again, we sing the squidging rather than something else, see? So finally, we get on our knees, she's coming again, there's daylight. And I can hear Tom, my brother now. Thomas, the man, is reading the rosary. And he got as far as the third mystery. And clunk, he's hid behind the chair. Sound of the world, the third mystery. All hands asleep. And the man was, Tom was reading the rosary. He's sound asleep too. And we kept the garden, we had the burial that evening. We kept the garden party going all that day. We had the funeral in the garden party, and we kept the garden party going the second night. But that was the last old-time wake we had here. The wake, sure, years ago, before I can remember, is as good as a ball.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it was the right way. Why squeaks and ball over? Because if I died tonight, I'd like for you to sing all night long, get as drunk as you like. You can't hurt me anyway, you falls across me, I'm dead anyway. So sing away. Sing her up.
Now follows a tape I did with Leo Donahue sometime in the 1970s. It was badly damaged in the fire on High Street at CBC Studios, but I managed to salvage this from a badly damaged cassette.
Friends, you got to say Hail Mary in every step in this certain building. He said, I forget how many steps are there in the fleet of stairs, maybe there's 50. I said, fine, Father, whatever you say, I'll do. So when I got there, I started to kneel on every step and say Hail Mary. There was a lady ahead of me, and I was catching up with her. When my prayers were shorter, or hers was longer, I don't know, anyway, I was catching up. By and by, she kneeled, and tail of her dress hooked the heel of her shoe. She looked back, she said, would you mind rising my dress, please? And I said, no, miss, for doing that, I'm doing this. This happened 2 years ago on Sylvia Joyce. I had this party from British Columbia. So one of the ladies says, Skipper, you don't mind me asking questions? And I said, anything that I can answer, my dear, I said, I'll answer. It was a part of my job. Anyway, she asked, when do I freeze up and how much Joyce we get. She asked 1,000 questions. And finally we arrived at Canarn. Now the chart ran out before I got right in the river, see? So I says to the young fellow on the boat with me, Jim, how shoal is the water in now, my son? And she says, Skipper, what do you mean, how shoal is the water? Oh, shallow, man. Well, she knew what shallow was, but she didn't know what shoal water was. Fine. Fine, boy. Jim says, Skipper, boy, you only about a fathom there now. And a fathom. Now, what's a fathom, Skipper? 6 feet, man. Oh, she knows 6 feet. I throw away the grable, Jim. Grable, Skipper, excuse me, what's a grable? Well, I said it's an anchor, or is another name for anchor. Oh, she knew what an anchor was. This lady wasn't that stupid, but I'm talking Newfoundland language, and she's from British Columbia. Very good. Done some fishing. 2 days later, we come around Cape John. Beautiful day, steaming in the green bay, see? And this land away on the horizon. She come in the wheel, she said, Skipper, what's the name of that land I see on the horizon, away on the horizon? I said, that's Long Island. That's just about up to the bottom of the green bay. I said, we'll be passing through Long Island Tickle. I said, within about 2 hours' time. Now when I said tickle, right away, Skipper, what's a tickle? Well, I had to tell her what a tickle was. Some is wider than others, more is longer than others. And I know that she's going to ask how to get his name when I'm finished. I'm sure it is. And I'm telling describing the tickle, I got to think up an answer for how to get his name. Finally, I had the tickle described and told her all about it. Now she says, Skipper, how does that get his name? Well, I says, the ship you came over on, the William Carson, there was a ship a few years back, much larger than that boat, and they were passing through a place like we got to go through in a few minutes, a few hours' time, a tickle, and the captain come out, and he said, on the bridge, he said, I can find the rocks tickling the side of my boat, and we call it tickle ever after. Gee, she said, Donahoe, that's good. That's the bigger look. It was towing it up there. Yeah, she believed it. Sure. Sound all right.
He had them all on there.
This concerns a pilot over Atlantic, and anyway, lost one of his motors, 4-engine plane. Anyway, he says, Gander International Airport, come in, please. Yes, the airport, come back, read you loud and clear. What's your trouble? We lost the motor. One of the starboard motors gone. Oh, there's no sweat. Come on, we brought in dozens here with only, in fact, down to 2 engines. So, short while later, gander, gander, can you read? Yes, loud and clear. Second motor gone, one to starboard this time. Oh, you still have 2 engines? Not a worry. We brought in several. We'll have your radar, the operator told him another half hour. So less than a half hour, another motor gone. No, you only got the one left. Curtis says, we can see you now on radar. You're doing a beautiful job. There's nothing to worry about. All you have to do is repeat after me. Our Father who art in heaven. This concerns a small aircraft in Gander, which in a little port in the White Bay to pick up a sick patient. And old fella says, I ain't going to get aboard in the airplane to go to Gander, the engine shut off, we'll be killed up over the land somewhere. I's dying mine too. So anyway, the plane arrives on the harbour ice. Now then, the plane is there. No, he still insists he wasn't getting aboard the airplane and get up there, the engine shut off, be killed. He'd sooner die home. Well, he went out and he got the pilot to come in. The pilot says, look here now, Skipper Bill boy, I got in over 2,000 flying hours, and he said we never had a hitch yet. Not too often anything happens like that. No way to talk him into it. He wasn't going aboard the plane. The engine might break down. What are you going to do? Well, the pilot says, look here, Skipper Bill, my son, as far as I'm concerned, you can't die till your time comes. Hey, he said, what about your time comes halfway to Gander? What are you going to do?
Leo, what about the girl you had on the Cabot Island?
Oh boy, I had some girlfriend up there. She wasn't a big girl, small girl, lovely girl. And the most important thing about her was her father's lighthouse keeper.
Oh.
And I'd leave Greenspan and go into Valleyfield for a load of fuel some days, and more days you'd be going to pick up the engineer, so we're building a road there. And she'd turn on the foghorn, my son. Now, her father wasn't supposed to turn on this foghorn on Cabot Isle or Patty's Point, whichever closed in first with fog. Then you set the fog alarm going. But she'd turn on the fog alarm when the fog would be down off of Cartwright. And her father would say, what do you got the fog alarm on for now? Well, Leo's gone to Valleyfield and the fog might come in. He got no radar or nothing. Boy, sonny boy, I've been often in Valleyfield, lovely days, and you hear the fog alarm going. What's the foghorn on for now? I said, the girlfriend got it on for me. She cost the Department of Transport about $2,000 in Settling blowing the horn. The only girlfriend ever I had to blow their horn about 50 times a day for me. Yes, so that was some girl.
Oh, what was she like, Leo? What was she like?
Beautiful, small girl. I don't know, she wouldn't stand much punishment. No, she wasn't well built. She's not like the one I got now. This one is rugged. Yeah, I go in for heavy duty, everything. Snowmobiles, cars, trucks, boats, everything heavy duty, like Caterpillar motors, you know. Something can stand a good trimming. Yeah, little small ones, boy, some easy to say good stuff in small parcels, but lots of times you can't stand up to the wear and tear. You know, like duty you can. You don't and at least you don't expect it, eh?
No, right.
No, I know big ones can break down.
Brief one put on there. That's all right.
No, quite to put it on there.
Anyway, that's good.
The other one pick it up.
Oh, my blessed God.
And she's a good girl, eh?
Oh, yes, sir.
Big, fat, isn't she?
Oh, the one I got now, heavy duty. Barrels of diesel, pick up barrels of diesel.
Still play the tambourine, Leo?
And eat, blessed God. Well, you know them 5-pound tubs of pork riblets? That's what she has, and £2 a piece for a peas pudding. Duff, sir, you talk about it.
Cheever keep a cow, isn't it?
Oh, Cheever. Yes, sir, I think it is. Cheever to keep a cow. But she's strong. Yes.
She'd have to be keep up with you, wouldn't she?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah. She go bare feet with you, Leo?
Oh, yeah, whatever I does, she does it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If I pray, she's pray. Only one thing I does she won't do.
What's that?
Swear. She won't swear. No, swear.
She's saved, is she?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, prays night and day for me.
Yeah.
You got pretty good then, how many people playing away?
Yes, well, I got away 22 years I struck the rock. This year I struck the rock.
Yeah, good Catholic prayers, saying good Salvation.
Yeah, I got Salvation Army, I got the United Church, and I got the Pentecost Church praying for me.
Yeah.
Well, most every church prays for me. That's right, sir. Yeah.
I should my church.
Was there for church? Grand church.
Oh, boys, did you hear of the shower? From Russia we're getting brown flour. With a mixture of bran, cornmeal, it is grand. 'Tis guaranteed to rise in 1 hour. Some say in Dove it is the right stuff, while others the batch turned it sour. If you want to get fat, just wear a quiff hat and just try a sack of brown flour. You eat 1 slice and be merry, it'll turn you so red as a cherry. The doctors all claim in Holland and Spain it kills and it cures berry. It's far before the Diana, it smells just like a banana. You lie down to rest, you think you're out west, killing buffaloes out in Montana. 9 miles to walk and Fogo are a grand station. 9 miles to walk for this ration. A door on the back of the courthouse you'll tap, touch your hat and walk in is the fashion. Be sure and answering questions, be sure and don't make no suggestions. The sheriff ain't slack, he's snug to your back, in his pocket there's handcuff connections. First is your children and ages, your account shows a list of your wages. Your potatoes and grass will ring in at last, you live in houses or cages. You have work to do, he'll pass you out your money. It's everything on it but honey. It's canned milk and rice and sugar and spice to get this grand food, it is funny. You have work to do for this ration, it's harder than writing taxation. You're a pauper, you know, you must shovel snow and help to reduce down taxation.
Oh, good.
Now, will you tell me about the old-time St. Patrick's Day in Boyd's Cove years ago? I know you're not that old, but still you can remember back a few years.
Have a great time, boy. Marvelous time. It was better than Christmas.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah, better than Christmas.
Of course, it came during Lent, when you could do with a bit of, fun.
That's right.
It's Lent in the old time, say, not like...
Oh, no, and you let us off St. Patrick's Day, see?
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we could swear that day. Yeah, still get forgiveness that day. Yeah, get drunk and they forgive you. Yeah. But any other day, well, you were murdered.
But you had a school holiday?
A school holiday, and this teacher then dresses up little green sashes and have a little parade. And then we chased older folks after dinner and they'd be singing songs. And we have a concert, sure to have a concert.
Tell me about that concert you and your brothers with the dentist. That was good.
Oh, yeah, they wanted, the teacher figured you wanted another 20 minutes or so, so I says, well, sir, Mom has a rec card down at the house. She had this little girl, and it concerns Casey at the dentist. And I said, we could act that out for you, as any help. So I was Casey, I had toothache, and I met this little boy in the street, which was Gerald, my brother. Tom, next brother, he was the dentist. So I'm walking down the street, and I meet Gerald, and I have a terrible toothache. And Gerald says, well, Casey, what's the matter with you? And I says, oh, me boy, don't be talking, I have a terrible toothache. And Gerald says, where? I says, in me tooth. Where else do you think? I have a toothache. And he said, why don't you go into the dentist and have it out? Well, I said, where's the dentist too? Well, he said, look, here's the sign. I said, what do we say on the sign? Oh, teeth pull without pain. I didn't think I had to pay any money. Pain, it is. There he goes, in I goes. And I says, good morning, doctor. He says, good morning. I says, is this the dentist factory? He said, yes. What can I do for you? Well, I said, I have a terrible toothache. I want you to holler. Then he gets his fingers in my mouth. By and by, oh, you got the right one. Oh, that's it. Yes, that's the one that's tender. So anyway, let's pull it. Now, he got a tube of lipstick on the opposite side of the audience, and he's painting my face all over. He got his long wooden pliers, and he's painting the lipstick on. As I turn to the audience, well, the children thought there's blood. Now then, $2, please. I said, I thought you said on your sign, teeth pull without pain. Oh, P-A-I-N. Oh, I didn't know how you spell it. I'm not educated. Here, I'll give you 50 cents, I said. You'll put the tooth back in my face and I'll go somewhere else. Anyway, you pulled the wrong one anyhow. And that's how we ended up. Well, it acted out. Took 20 minutes, you know. So then the older folks, they'd be singing her up till my son daylight. All kinds of Irish songs. But they're up in the cemetery now, the song's covered up with it.
Unfortunately.
Oh, it is. St. Patrick's Day in Boys Cove, 20, 30 years ago. My sonny boy, it was a ballad.
What are you playing this year, Leo?
We're planning on a fishing trip this year. A few songs included, about 15 skidoos and going ice fishing. And mostly holy water.
Yeah.
That's what we'll take
That's
it
a
out.
likely story, eh?
Yeah, mostly holy water.
What are you going to have to eat, Leo? Have something good, eh?
Roast fish, watered fish, and roast wieners.
Wow.
Yeah, and trout we can get them. Yeah.
Well, sounds a good time.
Oh, it'll be a good trip. Nice trip.
That's good.
Well, very well. We'll see if it is.